This video would be a very brief explanation of how I see Zechariah chapter 5 verse 5 through 11. There are many different interpretations of it, and you can go online to places like Bible Hub or really search anywhere for Zechariah 5 verse 9 or verse 6, and you will see all the various ways that this is understood. And in Zechariah 5 verse 5 through 11, this is the verse where we see the woman being carried in a basket, and the two other women appear with the wind in their wings. And what the commentaries on these will readily tell you is that there is a great debate going on about this. Matter of fact, I'll just go down to the commentaries really quick and show you that. Okay. So in these commentaries here, a second, here we go, 5-9 commentaries. Okay, it's the first one, Benson commentary. Great difficulties attend the interpretation of this part of the vision, and commentators are much divided upon it. So this is where the two women with wings come up out of the earth. So I'm just going to give you my 2 cents about it. This is what I take this very literally. Before this part, we had the flying scroll, right? Now this could have been describing the missile that Zechariah was seeing, but I'm willing to take it literally. He literally saw a flying roll or a flying cylinder scroll. So I'm going to also take the part about the woman in the basket literally, and I'll tell you why. So then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes, and see what is this that goes forth. And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah, or a basket, that goeth forth. And he said, Moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead, and this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. And he said, This is wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, or he cast wickedness into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. Then lifted I up my eyes and looked, and behold, there came out 2 women in the wind. Well, it doesn't say they came out of the ground. It says they came out 2 women, and the wind was in their wings, for they had wings like the wings of a stork. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build it an house in the land of Shinar, and it shall be established and set there upon her own base. Okay, so like I said, I'm taking this literally here. There is one part here interesting that I mentioned in a video called the All-Seeing Eye is a woman in the Bible, where we see that the word for resemblance is ayin, and ayin literally means an eye, physical eye. So primitive word, an eye, right? So this is their eye throughout all the earth. But I guess you could probably take it as also their image. You could take it as their image. This is their image through all the earth. This could be the image of the beast or whatever, but let's see how it's used briefly. It occurs 888 times in 830 verses in the Hebrew. So we see eyes, 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 eyes. Most commonly is used as an eye. Oh, this is what I was looking for. It's used 495 times for an eye, 216 times for sight. Some would interpret this as still being an image or resemblance, but it seems that mostly it's pointing to an eye literally. But anyway, moving on quickly. And so the next thing that I look at here when I'm interpreting this is I look at the language of this whole thing. Okay, so what typically happens is, let's go back to chapter 4, right? So he's talking to the angel in chapter 4. And the angel that talked with me came again and waked me as a man awakened out of his sleep. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I said, I have looked, and behold, a candlestick of gold, with a bowl on the top of it, and it had 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof. And so, okay, here's what happened. And then so we scroll down a little bit, and then the angel that talked with me answered unto me and said, Knowest not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. And so he's going to give him the interpretation of it. Let's see, let's scroll down a little bit to where he gives the interpretation. Okay, so, For they shall rejoice and see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7. They are the 7 eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth. And that's another thing. Sometimes eyes are another word for spirits. So let's quickly look at the 2 olive trees here. Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again, and he said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches? Through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves. And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No, my Lord. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Sorry if you can hear my son coming up the stairs. So going back to Zechariah 5 again, we see how in prophecy we see where the prophet sees something, and then the angel gives him an interpretation. He tells him exactly what it is. So what the angel tells Zechariah about this woman in the basket, he says that this woman is wickedness. And that's all he says through this whole chapter here. So how are we to interpret that other than literally? Okay, you might say, well, this woman is a city. Yeah, she could be, but it doesn't actually say that in here. You could say she's a church. I think that's more of a stretch. And it also doesn't say that in here either. She's called wickedness, and that's it. Well, we're told that she is their resemblance through all the earth, or their eye through all the earth, and that she is wickedness, and that she will be taken to the land of Shinar and established upon her own base. So, who are these other 2 women with wings here? Because these are what can cause a serious problem when we try to say, well, okay, she's a city because she's a woman. Okay, so the question that comes to my mind is, okay, who are the other 2 women then with wings? And we know in the Bible that things with wings are spirits. So who are these other 2 women that appear? Are they also cities, or are they also churches, or are they also what? I mean, because it just gets really muddy when you get away from the literal and start getting into the allegorical stuff, especially when it's not told you anywhere that this is an allegory or this is a metaphor for anything. When you start making it a metaphor, then it starts to get really muddy. And I believe that's why the commentary says that great difficulties attend to the interpretation of this part of the vision, and partly because people are really, I believe, in my opinion, this is my 2 cents here, people are trying to force this thing that is literal to be metaphorical. And I believe this is why commentators are much divided about it, because they are taking something literal and trying to make it metaphorical. And I personally believe that there is an agenda out there to hide the existence, or we have to consider how many Freemasons and Jesuits are actually in the church, or in the seminaries, or in positions where they teach pastors, they teach the future teachers, and we learn from them, and too often we don't question what they tell us. And I'm in a really difficult position, because it's not easy to question what people are if 9 people are saying one thing, it's not easy to be the one person saying, no, I think this is different. It sucks. It sucks a whole lot, but I'm doing it And there's a chance that somebody is going to explain this in a way that just completely makes so much sense and just makes me look like a complete fool, and I have to be willing to take that risk. So that's my 2 cents on Zechariah chapter 5 verses 11, for those who haven't seen my explanations in the other videos that I've done. So thank you for watching, and Jesus bless you.